Now, in the real life situation, you may actually change your loan by actually repaying more, all right, repaying less. Depends on situation, all right. If you started working, you borrow money, you started paying, say, you bought a house, you started paying, let's say, $800 a month, and then you got promoted, you could afford more, so you might start paying $1,000 a month, so on and so forth. So therefore, we will have two or multiple steps in terms of reducing the loan. We could have two steps. I think in the exam, generally, I've seen questions as in two steps. So you've got a certain period that you pay a certain amount, for example, like I said, $800, and then another period you pay $100, that sort of stuff. Or the bank. You know that the bank, the interest rate changes a lot, so it could go up or down. All right, so we are looking at a situation like that. So the thing is, you got to think about some things like changes in interest rate, changes in regular repayments. That leads to the changes in principal. Or sometimes, for example, if you inherited a certain amount of money from your grandparents or whatever, or your relatives, you decided that you want to reduce your principal. You just dump that lump sum in, and then the principal is reduced. So all this sort of situation will affect the terms of a loan. All right? Anything you do by paying more regular payment, or one huge lump sum payment, or the change in interest rate. All right? So what I'm going to do is, this is what you got to think about in real life. Things like variable interest rate, ability to change the repayment amount. That is actually quite important. There are loans out there which is fixed interest rate or fixed term, which means you've got to pay that amount. All right. Whereas, personally, when I borrowed money to buy a house, I prefer a variable interest because it's instead of fixing it, which means I have the ability to change the terms. Again, things like lump sum. So the changing the terms of a loan can reduce or extend the lifetime of a loan, and hence the overall cost of the loan. So this is what you're expected to do. Calculate potentially the overall cost of the loan, or sometimes if you pay more, you can actually reduce the terms of the loan. All right? Now, let's have a look at the first situation. What I'm going to do is I want you to get your class pad out. We're going to think about how we could answer this question very carefully. What I'm going to do is write out my model answers as well, and so that you can have a look. This will be some sort of typical exam questions. All right, let's think. Adam borrows $80,000 at 8.6% per annum with interest compounded monthly. So we know that the present value is 80,000. This is the interest rate, 8.6%. Here, compounded monthly, PY equals to CY equals to 12. All right, using your calculator terms. The loan is to be repaid over 10 years. So your capital N for your calculator will then be 10 times 12. Correct? All right. Now, the situation is you are asked to calculate the amount of each installment to the nearest cent. And then you calculate, then after 4 years, the interest rate was reduced by 1% to 7.6%. So, in this situation, we've got a new I. All right? You must be able to use your calculator effectively. Let me write this down. PV equals to 80,000. I equals to 8.6%. PY equals to CY equals to 12. That's the situation one. And N is 12 times 10. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my calculator and we'll work on it together. All right. Go to your class pad. Just clear all. so that you're starting from new. Every single question, you should always do that for your class back. And of course, this one is under compound interest. All right? So we now know that n. We've got n is 12 times 10. It's fine if you input that in your calculator, 12 times 10. It will work it out. All right? I% is 8.6. Present value is 80,000. Now, PMT, we don't know. We want to work out the regular payment. And FV, the future value is 0. PY is 12. CY is 12 because it's compounded monthly. And you are paying a regular payment of a monthly payment. So if I tap in PMT, I will have minus 996.1692462. All right? So therefore, what you need to do is really write all this down when you answer the question. I will show you my model answer very quickly. So this is what I do. The example 1. I write down A, I write down the percentages and everything. Step by step, and actually give the full amount. Write down all the decimal places for that when you answer. Yep.
When you answer like an exam.
Sorry?
When you answer an exam style question, you have to like list all the.
Yep, write all this down. Yeah, yeah. You have to write all this down. I mean, you don't have the box there. You don't really have to do that. I just did it to make sure that it's clear to all of you, that's all. But as long as you follow the step by step and I% or whatever, whoever is marked it will know that you're using your calculator effectively. All right? And make sure that you've got all the decimal places here. I mean, it's extra 2 seconds. Just write everything down and then answer the question in 2 decimal places. That's a model that I would like all of you to adopt. Right? So, we can answer the question now, which means part A. Once you've done all that, calculate the answer, which is actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to refer to my model answer. I will upload that. All right? Refer to my model answer. All right, part B. Calculate the new amount of each installment to the nearest cent. Now, what happened is after 4 years, you would have paid a certain amount, correct? Yeah? So what you really want now is to think about after 4 years, you have a new PV, right? Because you've already reduced your 80,000 to a certain amount. And then you've got your new PV, we don't know yet. You know that is N of 48, right? And still based on this repayment and still based on this interest. So using your calculator, what we are going to do now is to reduce that to 48. 48 months of paying 8.6% because it's 4 years. 4 times 12 is 48. PV started off with 80,000. This is the regular payment and the future value. We now want to work out the future value. So now the amount owing is 55877.750. All right? This is the first step. Write that down. What you do is write down the future value after 48 months instead. All right, I'll show you my model answer. So what I would do is, with my calculator, I will just use edit and copy and paste it in the present value. And remembering, take off the negative because you're borrowing the money. All right? Although you owe 55,000, you are using that amount. All right? You now use that amount after 4 years. Change your interest rate to 7.6. All right? Then the future value is now 0. All right? Now, PMT is still the same because we are still paying the amount What we want to know is what's the duration. Can we change the duration now? So after 48 months, if I tap on that, it's gone down to 69.518865. All right? So that is amount that we have to pay. That's the duration now. Did you get the same number as I do? All right. Work on that, please. This is the model answer. Sorry, it's not. It's 6 times 12. So I made a mistake. I made a mistake in terms of, it's still 10 years. What I want to do is, sorry, it's still 10 years. My fault. I shouldn't be calculating the duration. I want to calculate the new PMT. It's not calculating the new duration. The next question is calculating the new duration. My fault. So I know is the balance, which is after 4 years at 6 times 12. All right, my fault. And then you tap on the PMT. So it's now minus 968.8406. All right, it's my fault. I worked on the wrong thing. So you do need to know that you're now changing the time to 72 because it's a balance of the loan and 7.6%, and PMT is minus 968.8406. Yeah? See what I'm doing there? I have to change the future value to 0 as well. And then the present value is after 4 years. Whatever loan amount that's left. Alright? So the way I would answer this question is after 4 years, which is n equals to 4.12, PMT remains the same, future values become that. Alright, which is the new PV. Alright, the new present value. And then fill up all this and tap on PMT to find 968.80, 840605, and then write down the amount for each installment is 968.84. So if you know how to use your calculator, it makes life so much easier. Yeah? Agree with me? So make sure that you really practice how to use your calculator. All right, part C. Part C, how much to the nearest dollar does Adam save as a result of the cut in interest rate? What you need to do is work out the total repayment for situation 1 and then the total repayment for situation 2. Alright? So, total repayment for situation 1, or the original situation, is 120 times this amount, 996, because that's the PMT. Right? And that's how much would the repayment is. I'm still working on more than 2 decimal places. Alright? And then the repayment will be the second situation, the new situation, is 48 times 996.1692462. Alright, because that's 48 months of paying this. Plus 72 months of paying the new repayment, which means you only pay 117572.6476, and then the amount saved is the original situation, take away the new situation. That's all. So logically, step by step, going through how to use your calculator. All right. Now, what I would like you to do is spend the next 5 minutes work on question 2, because what I'm going to do is go through my solution with you once you've done it. And question 2, example 2, is basically on changing the duration. All right, play around with it. Now, with this question, what we need to think about again is what is a PV. Alright? PV is this one. This is your interest I. Alright? Compounded monthly, CY equals to PY equals to 12. And then this time, you've got a PMT rather than the duration of the loan. How long will it take, Roxanne, to repay the loan? Using your class pad. Let me write it down so that I can show you what I do with my class pad. So this time I know, we don't know N, it's unknown. I is 9.1, PV is 150,000, not 150. And PNT is 1715.50, future value is 0, and then CY and PY is 12. They are both 12. Alright, let's get my calculator. Oops, wrong one. This one. New question. I'm going to clear all. You could clear page or clear all, it doesn't matter. Back to compound interest, and I don't know. Percentage is 9.1. Present value is 158,000. PMT is minus 1715.50. Future value is 0. And PY is the same as CY is 12. Both of them are 12. Alright? So click on N. So you should get 144.007518. Write that down. And your answer should be 145 months because it's more than 144. Alright? Always remember, look at the decimal places. Even if it is just 007518, you are looking at the fourth decimal places now. Alright? So it's 145. Yeah?
12 years and 1 month.
12 years and 1 month. Alright, now let's think about the next bit. The next bit, what happened is after 4 years. Alright? After 4 years,
Changes how much your pays.
so N is, we don't know, okay, hang on. We know after 4 years, we are using 17415. You need the future value after 4 years. Alright? After 4 years. That's 48 months. So what I do is, everything remains the same. What I want to change N to is 48. And then I need to find the new future value. So the new future value is 116,684.3804. Right? Here, I would use edit copy and paste it up there. Edit paste. And then get rid of the negative value because you want that present value to be positive. Now, we don't know what N is. Oh, actually, we can leave that there. What we need to do is change the PMT to 1920. Is that right? Okay, good. That's from memory. And future value is 0. And then,
You mean negative 100.
yep, thank you. And then tap on N. You've got 81.77468,008. Alright, which is a further 82 months. So you got to add all of them together and then take away the original one. So this is how I answer the question. Alright? So what I would do is, for the first question, write all this down and then answer that. It will take Roxanne 145 months to pay off the loan. Alright? All the steps are in. Do it properly. That way. And then what I've done is I wrote down every after 4 years instead of writing the step. Just show that and then input that in here. And then the PMD is minus 1970. 1920. Forgot the minus. And then you know that everything else remains the same. FV is 0. So therefore, you can work out 81.77468008. Now the duration of the loan is now 82 plus 48 equals 130, and 145, which is the original, minus 130 is 15. So the loan period will be reduced by 15 months. Right. And then the original situation, what the total repayment is, the new situation, what the total repayment is, and then you work out the difference. This part C is the same as what I did previously, except the changing here. All right? So that's all I have for you today. You should be working on exercise 3E. And then we'll work on, and then I'll give you time to work on exercise 3F on Friday. Yeah? And then I think 3E and 3F is pretty important for working out this sort of question. Yes, it will be, okay, all right, all the practice tests will be on learning task. Campus learning task. Campus learning task, all the practice tests will be on campus learning task.